Live from the NJ.com studio comes the only weekly TV podcast you'll need, where a lofty critic squares off with an obsessed superfan on everything from highbrow drama to lowbrow reality. The cocktail shaker is ready. Prepare for your TV hangover. Now, your hosts, Vicki Hyman and Erin Medley.
Hello and welcome to TV Hangover. I am Erin Medley alongside Vicki Hyman. Vicki,
hi.
How are you today?
I'm tired.
Are you?
I'm tired. The new carpool is kicking my butt. I'm waking up 2 hours earlier.
Oof.
Yes.
Like, so you're waking up at what, 9 a.m.?
No, that's the time I normally wake up. I'm waking up at 10 to 7.
Oh my gosh, how the humanity, how do you survive?
I don't know. I'm going to have to triangulate all the Starbucks around my route now.
Oh, do you have any drive-through Starbucks where you live?
There's one in Pompton Lakes where my husband works.
I will say that the drive-through Starbucks is a necessity.
You think?
Unless it's the one in East Brunswick, and then it's just the bane of my existence because they're slow as heck. Oh, Alyssa's shaking her head. Do you know about this one, Alyssa? I know you guys can't hear or see producer Alyssa, but she's shaking her head. And let me tell you something. That East Brunswick Starbucks, a mess.
I don't know.
And
Sorry.
I love Starbucks. This is very Jersey, this conversation right now. Vicki, I have some exciting news.
News that I don't know about yet?
Potentially.
Okay.
Walking Dead Season 6.
Yes.
Premiering on Netflix September 15th.
Oh, for you. Yes. Very exciting for you.
Finally be able to finish it up.
So that's before the next season starts,
which
right?
I think is in October.
Yes. I just saw the teaser for it this morning.
Also, you know what disappeared from Netflix? And I think that's where I was watching it. Fear the Walking Dead Season 1.
Well, don't bother.
Don't bother.
Really.
Right. I was going to finish it. What do I know?
I'm still watching it, but only to yell at the TV screen and my husband. If a zombie falls out of a 10, 20-story window onto the ground, the zombie will have broken his legs and he cannot get up immediately. I'm sorry. So it's all about biomechanics at this point. That's all I do with the show.
Well, I don't know if that's what you want to do with a zombie show when
there's nothing else to talk about on the show. So,
okay, so I have two shows that I watched recently that I want to get your take on if you've seen them.
Okay.
Number one, Better Late Than Never.
No, of course not.
That is, for you guys that don't know, a show on, I believe, NBC.
Yes.
A reality series starring Henry Winkler,
William Shatner,
George Foreman, Terry Bradshaw, and this other
comedian
random
who's
guy,
their
Jeff
sort of
someone,
host,
who's
based
their
on
bag
apparently
carrier.
a mega hit in South Korea.
So they're traveling around Asia, experiencing new foods, culture, etc. It is so, I get so much joy out of watching this show. It's just kind of, you learn some factoids about Asia here and there, but to see these, older guys who are titans of their career, or of their, they're the top of their game for whatever field they were in.
They have been.
Okay, they were. Yes, they had been. But to see them experience the world
with an open mind,
That's
nice.
And in the episode that aired on Monday night or Tuesday night, they went to Korea and hung out with the group Girls' Generation, which is this huge K-pop all-female band in Korea, and they filmed a music video and they were dancing to Uptown Funk, and Henry Winkler busted out all of these dance moves. He's doing the two-steps.
Come on.
It was so great. It just made me smile in a way that I haven't really smiled watching any other show recently. And it's a show you can watch with your family, although it comes on at 10 p.m. It's kind of late. But I just thought it was great. So I think you should at least watch a single episode. And then the other show I watched last night, Atlanta, which is on FX.
I watched the first episode, and
So
I promoted for my what's new on TV this week.
I saw that.
You can find it at NJ.com. Yeah,
you said I don't read your articles, and
which is mostly true.
This is true. That one stars Donald Glover as a manager of a rapper, his cousin named
burgeoning,
Paperboy,
suddenly getting more notice rapper, but not like big leagues rapper.
It's a half-hour comedy,
and you're putting comedy in quotes because it's it's sort of along the lines of, what Louis does and what we're going to talk about a little bit later, because I'm going to make us talk about it on Pamela Adlon's Better Things on FX.
Never heard of it.
I'm going to tell you about it when we discuss some new fall shows. I'm going to slip it in there when we talk about Pitch.
Got it. Okay. Well, Atlanta, I don't know if I will keep watching. I will say the one thing I noticed, I do not watch FX at all. They show a lot of video game commercials. So they clearly...
I've never noticed that because I usually watch screeners.
That their audience is not me. Because at a certain point, I was like, what is this? What movie is this? And then I realized it was for a video game.
That happens to me all the time. I'm like, ooh, that looks... Oh, it's a video game.
Yes. I'm so glad it's not just me. I was very confused about what was going on. All right, so let's get to some TV news. Dick Wolf.
Heard of him.
And Zayn Malik. Which band is he from?
One Direction.
Yes, Vicky. So
we had a whole conversation yesterday about Harry Styles, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
Yes, we're like the mystery of Harry Styles. Don't get it.
Well, here's a mystery. Dick Wolf and former One Directioner Zayn Malik are teaming up for a scripted show about boy bands, according to Variety. The show is titled Boys.
Boys?
Boys. No Z, just boys. Boys.
Okay.
Yes. And it's going to air on NBC, and it was inspired by Malik's life and experiences with 1D. Here's a quote from Zayn. He says, Dick Wolf is a legend, and the opportunity to work with him in NBC to create a compelling drama series is awesome.
Bum, bum. I don't know. That actually sounds kind of like a neat premise for a show.
This would be Dick Wolf's 6th potential scripted series on NBC.
Currently on NBC?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Because he has all my Chicagos.
All your Chicagos and Law & Order SVU.
Law & Order SVU. And he has my new Chicago Justice. That's the lawyer.
Oh my God. Seriously, is there another one?
There's another one coming.
Coming not this fall. In the mid-season?
No, maybe mid-season.
Okay.
Yeah, not in the fall. Because we have Fire, PD, Med, which I don't watch. Okay. Don't watch Med. Don't like it. Not
you
good.
Have your standards.
I have my standards. And Justice, which I did not like the backdoor pilot for Justice, which aired, I believe, as part of PD. Yeah, as part of PD. So we'll see. In other TV news, TV Land,
I'm so excited.
A network close to my heart, by the way, has ordered a Heathers pilot.
An anthology
series would be based on the movie Heathers, which starred, of course, Winona Ryder and Christian Slater back in the 80s. The show would be a half-hour, single-camera what? Because it wasn't
Black
described.
comedy, right?
I would assume.
Yeah.
I would assume so. No casting has been confirmed. They're shooting the pilot this fall. This is not the first time that a network has tried to bring Heathers to the small screen.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oh,
really?
yeah. This has happened before. I can't remember exactly the network, but this is not the first time I've heard this. And, I mean, they've only ordered the pilot, so we don't know if it will get picked up. We'll just have to wait and see.
Well, I like the idea of doing it as an anthology, and also maybe, like, taking a nod from Fargo and sort of like the aesthetic and the setting and the feeling, if not like a continuation of the actual characters.
No, it's not. It's set in present day. I heard this on EW radio, that the Heathers, one would be oh my gosh, I have to say this correct, a African-American lesbian. Another one is a gender fluid male.
Okay.
And another one is an overweight girl. Those are the Heathers.
And they rule the school.
I'll
look forward to that.
So turning it on its head.
As long as it's less screechy than Scream Queens.
Oh my gosh, I was going to say, I don't think we need a Heathers TV show. I
just
think we have
Queens
Scream
just right?
Queen. No, it's not just right, but we have Scream Queens. We had the movie Mean Girls. I mean, just come up with a new idea and stop rebooting old movies as TV shows. And we're going to talk later about an old movie that's being brought to the small screen, Lethal Weapon.
One of several,
yes.
Season.
But today we're only talking about Lethal Weapon. Let's get into some Real Housewives of New Jersey.
On a special night this week on Mondays,
which I totally missed.
It always ruins my weekend regardless of what night it's on.
Right.
It always does.
But this time it was on a holiday.
Yes. And on a 10 o'clock at night when I need to go to bed to wake up at like 6:45 for the carpool the next morning.
Of course.
So do not appreciate that, Bravo.
Damn carpool. We're going to hear about this every week, people.
Yes, you are.
So on this episode of Real Housewives of New Jersey, it was a little more exciting than usual.
I mean, it was a little more exciting, but it's also sad because we are watching Joe Giudice's, I'm not going to say death spiral, but I mean, it is not, oh God, that guy.
So Joe Giudice was not the nicest person in this episode. Is that a good way of putting it?
Yeah, he's going off to camp or college, junior college in like 3 or 4 weeks, and he is clearly drinking a lot.
Very clearly.
I mean, I don't think there's a scene where he was sober, quite frankly. And he gets into
Allegedly.
a fight with Gia, who he has been struggling with for, quite some time. We've had discussions about how we feel about Gia and her father. And you've actually been very pro Joe, and I have been pro Gia because I think Gia really stepped up last year and was more mature than her father. But, however,
disagree.
This episode, Joe and Gia are bickering again, and Gia tells her father to shut up.
I totally missed that, by the way.
Oh my God.
Was that in the scene when they were in the kitchen?
With the kitchen, and they just died the dog, and she sort of like says a couple of obnoxious things to him, and then he says a couple of obnoxious things to her, and she's like, "Shut up."
Oh,
and then he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kick your butt," whatever.
Was that before or after he said he was going to slam Teresa's head?
That was before.
Oh, okay,
that was before.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so that was altogether like very disturbing thing. He's arguing with Teresa, and he says he's going to slam her head against the wall if she brings up his father. I know his father is a very sensitive subject.
Right.
But still, Joe, you're on television. Do not threaten to slam your wife's head against the wall.
That's like saying, Joe, you're on television. Don't commit bank fraud.
Like
nobody's
Joe,
thinking that
you're
way.
breathing.
Yes.
And then the third disturbing thing happened when they were going to a book party later in the episode to celebrate Teresa's book launch and her being number 2 on the New York Times bestsellers. blank, 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 can't get that right. Yes. Anyway, he apparently invited his good friend Chris C., a convicted felon, and Teresa in the limo is like, he cannot come, A, because he brought his son with him, and it's a 21-year and older party, the kid is 12.
Right.
And 2, he is a felon, and she is a felon, and she cannot associate with felons. And Joe's like, yeah, whatever, we'll deal with that.
Right. Well, Joe is clearly 3 sheets to the wind at this point, so yes, I'm not sure
10
he heard.
sheets.
Is that? I'm not sure he heard what she said. So this resulted in what I would call an explosive discussion outside of the book party. Let's take a listen.
The place is like so.
Don't worry.
They got legal issues. Lawyers don't want this guy around. He can't bring a minor in. That's not
Listen to
happening.
me, shut up.
Their security's not letting anybody.
Shut the
They're not letting anybody in.
They already came. You should have told me this beforehand.
Paul, listen to me! And you put your hand down! Listen to me! That's my blood! That's my blood! That's okay? You want to put up with your wife? I'll put my balls out for you! Hear me?
All right, Vicki. So in your recap, by the way, almost read the whole thing.
Oh my God.
Oh, actually, no, I didn't read your recap. But in your Who is Chris C?
My
exclusive reveal.
Blockbuster. I figured it out.
Yes, you described his little temper tantrum in a way that I enjoyed. Can you remember what you said?
I think the words melodramatic were there.
Yes, you said the unidentified and highly melodramatic felon and friend. That was good. And then I like when you said, in this episode, Chris Colombo, that's the big reveal, threw a profanity-laced fit. It's not, Shakespeare, but I really enjoyed that phrase.
Thank you. I wasn't trying so hard on that one. My recap, it was actually funnier, Erin.
Oh, I like this. I thought this
Thank you, Erin. Producer Erin agrees.
Alyssa.
I'm sorry.
Alyssa.
Producer Alyssa agrees. My apologies.
Please.
I'm sorry, Alyssa.
Of course, all these stories can be read at NJ.com/entertainment. So who is Chris Colombo?
Chris Colombo is the son of famed mobster Joseph Colombo, who ran one of the five families of New York, and he was gunned down in the 70s, I believe. Chris Colombo is his youngest son. He has served time. I think I don't remember the exact charges. I think racketeering, extortion, money laundering. I'm not sure. That's what he was arrested for. I'm not exactly sure what he was convicted on, but he served a year in prison.
Mm-hmm.
And the other interesting news, and the way I was able to connect the dots here, was that in 2005, while he was out on bail awaiting his trial, he inked a deal with HBO and shot a comic documentary about called House Arrest, in which he cavorts with prostitutes and strippers and all this sort of stuff. And the prosecutors were so upset by this, they tried to get him, because he had very loose conditions of his bail. He had to be home by curfew.
Right.
At which point the prostitutes and whatever were waiting for him.
Right.
At home. It was
Wait, House Arrest is the name of this documentary?
It's called House Arrest.
I'm going to watch it.
Yeah. Oh, are you? Actually, I looked. I don't think it's available. Even though everything on HBO is available, I don't think this one is available.
Oh, I will
you
find
can
it.
see it. Okay.
I will find it.
Yeah.
Because
So
number
this
one,
guy-
I love a good documentary.
To put it mildly, this guy likes cameras, as you can see from the scene last night.
He chewing that scenery.
He clearly wanted to be in there. He wanted to be in the party. Lord knows what. I mean, the guy could have gone into the party, and had he been just like a regular felon, maybe nobody would have realized it. But I think
Right.
this guy,
Big enough name.
yeah, big enough game, but also just I think he would have made himself very present on camera, and he certainly was present last night.
Yes, he
on
was.
Monday night.
Now, here's what I'll say. Even though we had that little bit of drama in action, this show's still super boring. I mean, really.
Well, it really was thrown into relief by the scenes from what's coming up the rest of the season, and it looks like there's going to be a lot of fun stuff happening. And I don't understand why the first 7-8 episodes have been such a slog.
Snooze fest.
I know that you have to fill I guess it's 18, 19 episodes,
Right.
You don't actually have to. That's
what I was going to say. I'm maybe they need to lessen the order number for this. I don't know what to do. All right, let's move on from Real Housewives of New Jersey. Is it on break next week? This week?
I don't know.
No. All right. No, I don't think so. All right, let's talk about a show that we both watched season 1. We watched season 2. We got a little. I got a lot behind, and then you were a little behind. I hope you've caught up.
I've caught up.
Mr. Robot. Mm-hmm. So you told me a couple of weeks ago that I was so far behind I missed the big reveal, but I already knew the big reveal because it was spoiled online. If you haven't watched season 2 of Mr. Robot, now's the time to turn us down. But we find out Elliot had been in prison for the first 6 episods of this season. Mm-hmm. Now he's out, early release, because of the whole
5-9.
Yeah. And Darlene has murdered someone.
Murdered the chief counsel of E Corp.
Correct. And what did they do with her body again? Oh, they incinerated it. They paid off the guy at the morgue or something. And Angela is doing what?
Angela is sort of working. She is working at E Corp and rising up through the ranks, and seems to be sort of enjoying that, but also is at the same time trying to be a whistleblower. Right. And I have to confess that this subplot is sort of the most mystifying to me. And that's saying a lot, because the stuff going on with Philip Price and White Rose's alter ego, I mean, I have no idea really what's going on there either. But Angela, I really loved at the end of the last season how she sort of decided to, take the bull by the horns. Mm-hmm. And she gets this job at E Corp, and she sort of finds herself falling under its spell, but then she's torn this season. But I think part of the problem is that we don't really have a full understanding of what this Washington Township toxic leak dump is.
And, we know her mother died.
We know her mother died from it. But, I mean, I have no idea what the scope of it is. It doesn't sound very important because nobody's really talking about it. I mean, I think I read somewhere that it's supposed to be like the Flint crisis. But, the Flint crisis is big news, but it's not like it's 3 Mile Island.
Right.
Okay, so I don't understand, how this is supposed to be the linchpin of the series.
So can I tell you, and this is going to be so inarticulate, my main problem with
Thank you for warning us.
I'm just going to let you guys know, but hopefully someone understands. My main problem with Mr. Robot is that it seems like the world they live in is so unreal. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I understand Elliot's world is definitely unreal because he has a mental disorder. But is the rest of the world unreal? Are we in a real place? Because nothing seems...
It is very confusing because they show you little hints like when Dom goes to her deli and he has to shut down because nobody's paying cash. But yet the world seems to be like, except for the brownouts, the world seems to be going on pretty much just as it has otherwise. So I don't understand how that could be.
Right.
It's like the zombie biomechanics. I don't get it.
Right. It just seems, the whole thing seems a little off. And maybe that's intentional, but that to me always takes me out of it. Because I'm like, well, this doesn't seem realistic. Like, Elliot's mental disorder is something that could actually, like, yes, that people experience this all the time. Now we're just seeing it from their perspective, and I totally get that. But anything outside of that seems so, it just seems like it wouldn't ever happen.
I also, actually, what does take me out is that you have White Rose and I forget his male...
B.D. Wong's character.
B.D. Wong's character. It's like, he's like the national, like, security chief for China, and yet he's... not in China most of the time, and half the time he's dressed up as a man, half the time he's dressed up as a woman, and he's like this very hyper... I don't even understand how that could be.
I don't know either.
That all takes me out, and I love White Rose. I don't even know what's going on with the character, but I will just watch him. I will watch him or her do whatever. I have to ask you about the whole prison thing and how... it was going on for a long time. You find out he's been in prison. He says he's not going to lie to you again. He says he's not going to lie to us again. And then you see in this episode that they show you very quickly, very efficiently, and very well, like, who these people were, like, what, like, the Craig Robinson was apparently the corrupt warden. Everything was, they explained everything.
Right.
But do you feel like it was sort of just a show-offy move, like, I'm going to fool you? And can you trust him again? Do you really, I mean...
I don't think you can trust him because, and even if he says that he's not going to lie to you, what about his other personalities? There's always that possibility he's an unreliable narrator, and I think
he is an unreliable narrator.
We saw that in season 1, and then we saw it in season 2. One fan theory that I've read online that I wanted to run past you is about what's his name, Wellick?
Wellick's wife.
So at the end of this episode, Wellick's wife shows up in a black sedan outside of Elliot's old apartment. And he's walking up the street. You see the window roll down, and she says, "Hello, Ollie," which is Wellick's name, right?
No, that's Tyler Wellick. Ollie is, I think, Angela's ex-boyfriend. He, remember the guy she was dating at the beginning of the season 1, who they had some sort of, like, secret videotape. It's like that's what bothers me. It's so far back. It's so confusing. They actually they mentioned it in the scenes from previous. I think that's who he is. So he has another identity to Tyler Wellick's wife.
Elliot has another identity to Tyler Wellick's wife because we've already seen him basically morph into Mr. Robot.
Yes. So, but the theory is that he is actually.
That he is also
Tyler Wellick, or has become some manifestation of who Tyler Wellick was in the first season if he's no longer a character. If he was actually killed.
Right.
Now he is...
It's very confusing. Yes. How many episodes do we have left?
I don't know, like 2?
Maybe 1 or 2?
Yeah. I still love Sam, I can't pronounce it, Esmail. I still love his confidence. And... I'm along for the ride. I'll keep watching it.
I will say, Mr. Robot, I've been, hot or cold with it. But I find that if I really sit down to watch the episode, you have to pay attention.
It. Yes, I can't be like, putting together a real estate slideshow on the side. I have to watch it.
It's not like better late than never when I can do many other things and still enjoy it immensely. You have to actually watch Mr. Robot, and I will continue to do so to see where they're going with this season. I believe it's been picked up for season 3, so, we'll be watching it next year as well. Speaking of shows that have been picked up, do you like that transition? How was that?
It was awesome.
That was good, right? We're heading into the new fall season. We're officially, it's post-Labor Day. We're out of summer, although summer goes until the end of September. And the new fall shows are premiering. Last week we talked about Designated Survivor and...
This Is Us.
This Is Us. This week we're going to talk about Timeless, Pitch, and Lethal Weapon. Let's start with Lethal Weapon because I think that's where there's the least to say.
What the hell are you doing? Martin Riggs. We're going to make a great team. We got a DOA in Griffith Park.
Is the DOA dead?
Dead on arrival. Does it mean something different here?
No. I just want to make sure there's no one else left for you to kill.
Just you and me.
It's just like you'd think it would be. I don't know.
Lethal Weapon stars Damon Wayans and Clayne Crawford, along with Jordana Brewster. And Damon Wayans is a police officer who looks like he'd been injured in the line of duty.
Oh no, he had
right?
he had a heart attack. Did you watch it?
I did. Did they
he
say
had
he
a heart? Yeah,
attack?
I think they said he had a heart attack, and then
Oh.
later you find out like when he had the heart attack, which is important. But yeah, he had a heart attack, and now he's back on duty. Massive heart attack. That
Right.
had he not already been at the hospital when he had the heart attack, he most likely would have died.
And then Clayne Crawford is a cop, and his wife
Was tragically
in like a car accident,
killed in a
or
car
something.
accident. Yeah,
and so
it was pregnant wife who was going to be delivering her baby on her way to the hospital.
Right. I was wondering how they like when he arrived at the hospital with flowers. I was very confused. I was like, wait.
Well, I was very confused by her driving to the hospital because I remember when I was driving to the hospital pregnant, and I was basically like Linda Blair in The Exorcist in the car.
That's when you call 911. You're like, look, I'm in labor. Can you come get me? Thank you. And so, they're complete opposites, and Damon Wayans is really trying to slow down on the job and not be...
Not get killed.
Not get killed, not have another heart attack. And Clayne Crawford is totally like balls to the wall, like just do whatever you want.
Well, he's sort of got a death wish. They
Yes.
explain they do a little like character emotional work at the end. It explains like well, if he wants to die so badly, is so upset about what happened to his
Right.
wife and unborn child, then why does he just kill himself?
Right.
Why does he keep taking these chances? And they explain it. I thought explained it in a thoughtful way.
Look, it was fine.
It's fine.
It was. I think the tone.
Did you think it was too violent?
No.
There's so many shootings.
Eh.
A lot
You
of
watched
shootings.
The Walking Dead.
I know that's very violent. This is like is it CBS? I'm sorry, no Fox.
Fox.
What is it? Fox. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that
but it's
explains it
on
a little
Fox,
bit.
Yeah. I will say what I thought. Where I thought it had issues was in tone. So the action sequences I thought were great. And I like Damon Wayans. He's a funny guy. And I think they both play off each other very well. In all other scenes where there are other people involved, I just thought it fell flat.
Yeah, it was. Everybody else is pretty shallow at this point.
Correct. So we'll see if Lethal Weapon takes off.
It's better than Rush Hour. If we're talking about buddy cop remakes, it is much better than Rush Hour.
It is.
Which was on CBS and canceled.
Way better than Rush Hour. I mean, that show just was not good at all. Do we know when Lethal Weapon premieres?
I believe it premieres the week of September 17th when basically everything premieres,
Right.
September 18th or 19th.
Okay. Well, we'll find that out actually, and get you that date, or you can Google it.
Because you're waiting breathlessly for it.
I got it. September 21st. Yes. Fast Googling here. All right, so let's talk about Timeless. Timeless is on NBC, and it stars Matt Lanter, Abigail Spencer, who, by the way, for you USA fans, was Dana Scott on Suits.
Was what? I'm sorry?
Dana Scott on Suits. She was a love interest of
She was
Harvey.
also on Rectify.
Okay,
which also is actually where Clayne Crawford is from.
Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't know who that. I didn't know.
Well,
this
the funny
Clayne
thing is,
Crawford
I
guy.
thought he, by the way, going back to Lethal Weapon, I did think he had a hell of a lot of charisma. I'm like, where's this guy been all my life? I'm like, oh yeah, that's the guy from Rectify. And then he's like been in like 1,000 other things.
Yeah, he's one of those like.
He's been knocking around. This could be his
Right.
star vehicle.
It's
fine.
And also, starring on Timeless is Patterson Joseph, who you may know as Holy Wayne.
Oh, that's right. That's right. From The Leftovers. That's right.
Yes. So
And Gordon Vishnick.
I mean, there are a lot. From ER.
For our ER fans.
There are a lot of star. There is a lot of star power on Timeless. So it's basically a story. It's hard to set up.
Well, the thing is, like, not only is it hard to set up, it's hard to exactly know where it's going to go from here.
Correct.
It seems at first to be like, first of all, there are a lot of time travel shows coming our way soon, and this one seems to be closest in the spirit to like sort of Voyagers, one of my favorite shows of all time. You know what Voyagers is? John Eric Hexum and Mino Palouse, 1980s. Wonderful show.
No.
And Quantum Leap. So,
I definitely know what that is.
Emotional and interesting, and some interesting historical context given each episode.
Right.
But also like a little bit light, a little bit
is
fun.
a little light.
Yeah.
Oh, it's light and serious at the same time.
Yes.
I mean, I didn't have a problem with the pilot. I just don't know where it's headed.
The one thing that really concerns me... well, first of all, just a little more information about Timeless. So Abigail Spencer plays a historian. Matt Lanter plays sort of the brawn, the former soldier.
Yeah.
There's Rufus, I can't even read my own writing, who plays the scientist, who also gives, I think, some interesting...
his commentary is amazing.
Yeah, he's African-American, and he's being forced to go back into time to places where it had not been so great to be African-American.
Then.
And so they have to go back to try to stop this supposed terrorist played by Goran Visnjic who wants to change time. We don't know why. We'll find out. At the very end, there seems to be hints of the sort of like larger mythology. Maybe Abigail Spencer's character was always meant to do this as opposed to just being a history professor, which worries me a little bit, but also excites me a little bit.
This is where they've already started weaving the web. And if they don't keep their story straight, it's going to be a moment where Vicki and I are both like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
So, and that's always the problem with time travel shows, no?
Well, it can be. If they did actually put one rule. They stated it like several times very clear that they can never go back to the same place because they can't meet each other.
Right.
So they're going to be going to different eras where Goran Visnjic is going to be trying to change what happened. And of course... they can stop him, but they can't always stop him exactly in time, so little things can change.
Which cause big changes in the future.
Which is the same thing that's going on, in CW's Frequency, which is not exactly a time travel movie, but sort of. Time travel series.
I want to watch it. We'll talk about that one another week. So far, are you in for Timeless?
Yes. I'm surprisingly in for Timeless, because it was not actually the one that I was most excited about.
Here's what I'll tell you, given my history with... innovative NBC shows
like Revolution, which I think this guy is Tim Kripke. I think this guy's behind Timeless
Revolution, which was great in season 1 and craptacular in season 2. I think Timeless could go down that path.
Lucy Preston, Homeland Security. You need to come with me.
You've got a hell of a reputation. History, anthropology. Master Sergeant Wyatt Logan, Delta Force.
3:30 p.m. May 6, 1937.
Oh, the humanity.
You're telling me that this guy actually went back in time, for real, to the Hindenburg?
You were our best option.
To do what? Go after him?
I'd think someone who loved history would want to save it.
Our prototype. She isn't fancy, but she works. Usually. Do you need to go with them? I can't. I am black. There is literally no place in American history that'll be awesome for me.
Lucy.
Rufus, I'm the pilot. Kind of.
Kind of? Have you been drinking?
Didn't know I was going to be working tonight, ma'am. Might want to hold on.
And then finally, let's talk about Pitch, which is another Fox show. Oh, wait, hold on. By the way, Timeless premieres October 3rd.
Thank you.
So you still have some time. But okay, so Pitch over on Fox stars Kylie Bunbury and Mark Paul Gosselaar, Saved by the Bell. I go all the way back to Saved by the Bell for Mark Paul Gosselaar. Mark Consuelos, and our very own Jersey girl, Allie Larder. Who was on Heroes, another show that had a great season 1 and then didn't have a good season 2. Okay, so it's about a female pitcher who's called up to the major leagues.
The first female player at all in the major leagues.
Yes.
San Diego Padres, I believe.
That is correct. And what else?
Well, I thought it was... I really liked the pilot. I thought that... I kind of expected it to be very like, you go girl empowerment tale, and I was surprised to see it was much more nuanced and layered than that. It seems like it picks up when she's just about to be called up, but she's been in the spotlight for a very long time. And so,
because she's played in the minor leagues.
She's played in the minor leagues.
Come out of
nowhere.
She
won her state champ. I mean, she's been a phenom for a very long time.
Right.
And so I didn't think it was... I mean, it's not just about like being the first woman, but also about being a rookie, having all these expectations, where the expectations come from, both as a woman and also as an elite athlete. There's a lot of really interesting stuff going on with her father, who's played by Michael Beach. Always good.
What do you think your father will be saying right now?
We did it, Pop.
He ain't done nothing yet. A girl will never be able to throw hard enough to compete with boys, not as they start growing. It's biology, and we can't change that. That's why we need a secret weapon.
What is it?
It's called a screwball.
Enjoy your moment in the sun, because there's 29 proteins as we speak, figuring out that little trick pitch of yours. And when they do, I'll get my job back, and you'll become the answer to a trivia question.
Okay. The one thing I was concerned about with this show is it's a sports drama about a woman, though. So is sports going to turn women off? Is the female lead going to turn men off? I don't know if there's any studies that have shown that men are less likely to watch shows by women or about women. This is not by a woman. This is actually from Dan Fogelman, who's also from New Jersey, and did Gallivant, and he did
oh yes,
he's doing This Is Us.
Right.
Yeah, so good going, Dan.
Right.
Anyway, and I was thinking about this when I was watching, and here I go, Pamela Adlon's Better Things, which is a show that's premiering tomorrow night on FX, and it's wonderful.
Okay.
And it is by Pamela Adlon and Louis C.K.
Premiering Thursday, right?
Premiering Thursday. A lot of people have been saying, it's like a female Louis because it's about semi-autobiographical, sort of impressionistic show, funny but also tender and uncomfortable. About a single mother raising 3 daughters and being a working actress. And I'm wondering, I was watching the show and there's a moment where she's talking about menstruation. My son comes in, he watches it for me for seconds, go, this is not a show for me. And I'm like, yeah, it's not a show for you. And then I'm like, why not? Why can't this be a show for him?
Now you sound like you live in the world of Mr. Robot. Realistically, not a show for him.
Probably not a show for him, but it's I hope men watch it too, because it does speak very, very strongly to women, but it's just a great show. And yes, it's about motherhood, but also about parenthood.
Back to pitch.
I
don't know who the target audience is for this show.
But do you agree it's a problem?
I think it's a problem for Fox, absolutely.
Yes.
Do I think this show would have done... Well, we don't know how well it's going to do. But putting on my future seeing glasses here, I think that this is a show that would have been great on a Hulu or Netflix, because then you don't have to worry so much about marketing to that specific audience, because then the word of mouth doesn't happen the same way on network television. Whereas someone who could binge it on Netflix could be like, oh no, this is a great show, anyone will enjoy it. Now you have to sit there each week and see, well, the first episode, if you even get them to the first episode. I didn't want to watch this show. I saw the trailer and I thought it was terrible. And I was like, who the F wants to watch this?
And I told you to watch it.
And you did. And I don't think it's terrible. I think it's interesting. I definitely think that they're trying to appeal to both audiences. So you see a lot of the show from her perspective. But then you have an ass... Sorry. I just cursed.
Did you really?
I did. Nobody noticed except for me. You see a butt slapping scene.
Yes. Well, there
are multiple butt slapping scenes. You see the commentary from actual Fox Sports.
Very, very clever marketing there. I love that.
Of course.
A lot of Fox Sports.
Right, where they say oh, can the girl make it, blah, blah, blah. And all of those things, I think, play to the male audience. I don't know. I'm worried about this show. I don't see it doing well.
I'm a little worried too. One of the things that I also liked about the show is that, and we talked about this, I can't remember which show, about how everybody... Some show we just talked about where they hadn't really built up these secondary characters very much.
Weapon.
Thank you, Lethal Weapon. And here, I think they did a very good job of setting up Mark Consuelos' character and Ali Larter's character. And actually, I don't want to say that Mark Paul Gosselaar was a revelation in this.
He was really great.
I'm not saying he was a revelation
but he was a highlight.
But he was definitely very good. I mean, he's very clearly doing sort of a take on Crash Davis from Bull Durham, and this sort of grouchy... catcher who's playing guru to the rookie, but very good. I didn't mind it at all.
He was excellent. He was one of my favorite parts. I will say my least favorite was Ali Larter.
Really?
I thought she was too over the top. She was really
She was
trying
a little
hard.
hard-charging. A little hard-charging.
Sure. What's the name? Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, I liked her interplay with the character Oscar, I think, played by Mark Consuelos.
Yeah.
Already setting up a will there, won't they?
Of course they will.
But I liked it.
What's the name of the guy who plays the coach?
Oh,
or
don't
the
ask
general
me.
manager, the older guy.
The general manager? You mean the guy who owns it, or the general manager?
No, the general manager.
I can't remember his name.
No, he's
Dan from Wonder Years.
Right.
The father from Wonder Years. Dan Loria?
Sure. But I like seeing faces from the past.
Yes.
And he's good. I mean, look, the show is good. From what I've seen.
You gotta look it up.
And
I want to know if I'm right.
Oh, boy. And I know there's a twist at the end of the pilot, which I did not get to prior to this recording, but I will. And that sets it up for the rest of the season?
No, it doesn't.
No?
It just makes it really brings home that this is a very rich show.
Got it.
Something I didn't see coming, and I really loved it.
Well,
I think I might have cried.
No.
Yes, it happens.
Oh, wait.
No, don't say it now.
I'm not going to say it. I don't know what happens, but I think I have an idea in my mind. This is my favorite thing, is guessing what the twists are. Although I did not get it correct when I guessed the twist of This Is Us, which we will,
it's hard to see coming.
Which we will not spoil.
Once
you're like right there,
yeah, you're like, I know where this is going. There it went.
Dan Loria.
Yes, thank you.
So you're right. Yes. All right, Vicki. So the last thing on our agenda here for today's show is to talk about TV characters or real people where we have an opposite feeling for them than everyone else. So this comes out of the news last week that Nick Viall, or Viall, I really think it's Viall, but they decided to call him Viall.
For good reason.
For reasons, was selected as the next Bachelor. For those of you who don't know, Nick has been on 2 seasons of The Bachelorette, coming in second place each time, and then he was also on this season of Bachelor in Paradise. And for the first 2 seasons where he was on The Bachelorette, he was not a fan favorite. I personally never had a problem with him. I always thought he was fine. I totally got him. But Bachelor Nation did not. But on Bachelor in Paradise this season, he's really turned a corner with the fans, and they selected him as the next Bachelor. So that's what got us thinking of this idea. So I will start. I will say a character or a person that everyone else loved that I just don't get it. Teresa Giudice. Not current Teresa Giudice, but like seasons 1 and 2 Teresa.
Really? So you didn't like seasons 1 and 2? Because that was when I really understood the love.
No.
Oh, please tell me.
I've just never.
I thought you were talking about now Teresa Giudice.
Oh, no.
Because there are people who still love her.
I know. I've never understood the appeal. I don't get it. I don't think she's charming. I don't think she's funny. I don't think she's intelligent. I don't buy her shtick. I'm not
I think her shtick actually has become shtick, but I think it did start off being authentic, and I think she really did. She was just the comic relief.
I don't want to live in other people's houses.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay when you don't realize that she is about to declare bankruptcy and is continuing to live in her ginormous mansion when she's broke. Or not broke anymore. But yeah, I mean, I just think in the first season, she was just like a really fun girl who was sort of on the just somebody who's silly and goofy. And then she didn't make that turnaround until she flipped the table. That was the last episode of that season.
Right. Yes, very last episode. Yep. Or it was a 2-parter, I feel like. It was like 1 week and then the next
No,
week
I think
came
it was
back.
just 6 episodes the first season, and it was the last episode.
Well, I've just never been a Teresa fan. And real quick, I'll give you my other one because it's also another Real Housewife. Nene Leakes.
Really?
Get it?
People
don't understand it. People love her. Again, I feel like she fakes the funk. It's actually the opposite. Season 1 of Real Housewives of Atlanta, I thought she was fine. It was after that where she got a little too big for her britches. Fame went to her head. I do not understand why people like her. I don't know why she's on my TV every week in some capacity. I just don't get it. I don't get it. And that's it. I could give you another one, another reality star.
Quick.
Tamar Braxton. Don't get it.
Don't get it.
Mm-mm. That's what she was fired from The Real. The talk
She's
show.
Tony's sister.
Tony's sister.
Is Tony Braxton on Braxton Family Values?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Of course. All right.
She's the famous Braxton.
Well, now they're all
except
famous.
for Braxton Hicks. Sorry. The most famous Braxton of all.
That's such a mom joke, Vicki.
I am a mom.
This is true. All right. Who's on your list?
Okay. In light of Gilmore Girls coming back, I have to say once again how much I hate Rory Gilmore. I'm sure everybody loves both Lorelai and Rory. Probably people like Lorelai a little more. She's a little more relatable. Mm-hmm. But And it's nothing against Alexis Bledel. I think she did what she could with the character, but her character's written as such a freaking saint.
Right.
Everybody loves Rory. Rory never does anything wrong. If Rory actually does something wrong, it always turns out to be right anyway. It's so frustrating me. I mean, she finally, I think it was like in the 6th season maybe, when she has the estrangement from her mother. She goes off to live with her grandparents. She does realize that she made a mistake in leaving college. And so there is a little, I did feel good about that. Mm-hmm. But like there's so many episodes, so many seasons. She is just too perfect. I think they call her the Mary Sue. I don't know. She is, I still love the show. I love everything around her, but she always annoys me. I never understood how Lane, who was so cool and so multifaceted, could hang out with Rory. She's so annoying. She's Miss Perfect.
How does this girl have any friends?
I don't know. I was going to put Fitz on this list, but honestly don't know if Scandal Nation loves Fitz or not.
Likes Fitz.
Thank you. Okay.
But here's the thing. Here's where I think that we can disagree with Scandal Nation, which the Gladiators. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people want Fitz and Olivia together, even if they don't like Fitz as an individual, and that
really?
I don't
can't
agree
get
with.
Behind
no,
that.
I'm a Jake Olivia girl all the way.
I'm just like, I just want Olivia to just go on vacation.
Well, she did. Remember, they went to the island with Jake, and then she went back.
So I didn't actually end up putting Fitz on my list. My other person is Pete from Mad Men. Everybody hates Pete.
Oh, I like Pete.
I love Pete. Well,
Me
then
too.
we're different from them. Everybody hates Pete. Pete is like snivelly and smarmy and little. And
remember when he cheated on his wife with Alexis Bledel?
Absolutely. That's right. But you know what? I always felt that Pete is just like, he's really human. I mean, he is like the most like an actual human being on that show.
Do you think that you liked Pete more when he was dating Peggy?
Well, he didn't really date Peggy.
Well,
he just snogged her once and then was a big old, what about it?
Yeah.
Afterwards, I don't like you like this, he says as she dances towards him. I'm sorry.
But then what did she do?
Peggy got pregnant from that one time she was Pete, and then she gave the baby away, but you don't find out about that until like the middle of the 2nd season.
Right.
She just got fat, apparently.
Of course.
So I would have to say Pete, and then I have to add one more for Stannis Baratheon. I've always loved Stannis Baratheon. Yes.
The one who allowed Melisandre to burn his daughter at the stake?
Okay, so he did one thing wrong. He did one thing I wasn't happy with.
One thing.
Wasn't happy with, but I love characters who are very true to who they are. And I always felt like from the very beginning until the very end when he was lying there, wounded, and Brienne shows up and he's like, do your duty. Because that is the most important thing to him. That's been the most important thing all throughout. He has the rules that he lives by and he's going to live by them. And I love him for that. I'm really sorry about
his daughter
Shireen.
at the stake. Okay. Just after she had grayscale. I mean, the
recovered
girl
from grayscale.
did not live a great life. She did learn how to read, though.
Yeah.
Or no, she taught...
Well, she learned how to read and taught people how to read.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct. All right. Well,
I heart Stannis.
Rest in peace, Shireen. That's going to do it for this episode of TV Hangover. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at TV Hangover Show, at E_meds, still can't get at Erin Medley, and at Vicki Hy, VICKIHY. You can also email us, tvhangovershow at NJ@advancedmedia.com. We're going to be off next week, but we'll be back the following week.
Are we off next week?
Yeah, we are.
Are we?
I'm going away.
Okay.
But we'll be back
before the TV premieres.
Yeah, but we'll be back to talk about the Emmys and the TV premieres.
Okay. I get a week off. I shouldn't complain.
We'll tweet us. Tweet us and we'll tweet you back.